Hi! Today I picked up a few more crafter square kits and I thought I would put them together and give you my review. Let's get started. I am going to start with this cross stitch kit. It's a little donut and let's open it up and see what is included. All right, so inside we have the needle, we have the cross stitch fabric with the pattern on it, and the different colors of floss. We have the plastic embroidery hoop. I believe this is for hanging it. That would be what I would guess this is for. And let's see if it has any directions. Instructions are on the back, but I'm gonna go ahead and open up my embroidery hoop and put my fabric on inside of it. So I have the fabric and the pattern inside my hoop, and you kind of saw, I just kind of made sure it was pulled tight so that this doesn't have a whole lot of slack to it, that it's pretty tight. It's interesting, I want to note that the picture we have on the front isn't what a cross stitch will look like. They just kind of used a computer program to color in the colors and where they go, which is helpful because by looking at this, I wouldn't know what colors to do. Now, I mean, you could do whatever color you want to do, wherever you want to do it. But I just thought that was interesting. So I'm going to need to use this to know what colors I'm going to put where. I'm going to start with this, it's like a light orange peach color for the donut portion. So I'll go ahead and show you how I separate the strings. I start by cutting a strand off. I usually take the string in one hand and pull it up to my shoulder. And then I cut the length of that. Having it cut keeps it from getting bunched up as you separate it, because if it's really long, it'll just knot up on itself. Now they said to separate all 6 strands out and that you will be working with 2 strands. So rather than separating them all out, I'm just gonna pull 2 strands out of this group of 6. So I separate them and then I hold them apart. Using my other hand, I'll pull down on it. And this should help it separate without getting knotted. I had to YouTube how to do this the last time I was doing embroidery, and that was the tip I got. So there we go, we got that separated. Okay, now that I have my 2 threads on my needle, I can go ahead and start cross stitching. So you can see my holes are a little bigger than the others because I started, and I don't know how, but I started with 4 strings instead of 2. And I went back and tore them out because I wanted to do it the way the kit instructed. So I am going to start in one of the holes, and then I'm going to make a X with my stitch. And so that's, where it gets its name, cross stitching. And I want to make sure that I have my tail lying flat across where I'm going to go. So as I stitch over my tail. So my tail is laying like that. I have my thread through the first hole, and I am going to go into the bottom right corner of that square. And then make sure you don't pull too tight because you don't want your tail to come out. But then I'm going to come up into the upper right corner of this square, so right above where I just stuck my needle, and pull it through, and that should have gone over the tail behind it. And then I'm going to complete my cross stitch by coming down to the bottom left corner. And so I have made a little tiny X, like that. And then I'm going to come back into the same, my thread has already come into my next square. So I'm going to start back here in this upper left corner, and then I will come down to the bottom right corner, and then I will go to the upper right corner, right above where I was, and that should also go over my tail, and then I will come to the bottom left corner of that square. Oh no, sometimes this will happen. You just pull your string up off of that. And now I have 2 X's. And so I'm just gonna do cross stitches to fill up this space. I will come up above. I haven't quite decided because I wanna cover the outline. So I will make sure I cover up the red outline. So I'll do a row above this as well. So I have got quite a bit finished on it, and I just wanted to point a couple things out. I found it easy to do all the pieces that were on top of the donut, if that makes sense. And now I'm going back in and filling in the donut. One thing I thought was interesting, there's supposed to be like a darker pink, and I had such a hard time telling the 2 pinks apart. I had to get a second opinion. They are just barely different. And so here, where there was a pink sprinkle like this one, you can't even see it there. So, I mean, not a big deal because you have the yellow and green ones, but just thought that was a little interesting. And another note I made, so I've done cross stitch before, and I believe when I did it, the kit I had had a pixel, you know, like squares, and it told me how many squares and what color to do it, rather than having something printed on the canvas. And I like that better because here I kind of have to guess how many squares they want me to cross stitch in. And the way it's printed, it's kind of like, you know, you got the outline there and there's not really much I can do about it. So yeah, now all I have left to do is to finish cross stitching this pink color in, and then it will be finished. So here is my finished cross stitch kit, and now I'm going to give you my review. So the first category is time to complete. Cross stitching does take a while, and that's just the nature of a cross stitch. So I am going to give it no star for that because it's not a quick project, but don't let that keep you from doing it because cross stitch just takes a while. For ease of use, I'm not going to give it a star because the instructions, I did have a viewer ask me to record one of these, which tells me that the instructions were a little vague, a little confusing. And I also mentioned already that the pattern that was printed onto the canvas was bothersome, wasn't quite sure where to put the stitches, and you can still kind of see the borders. So 0 stars for ease of use. Materials, I'm going to give it no stars only because they had this color differentiation they're supposed to be, and I can't see it with the colors they provided. Although I do appreciate how much floss they gave, there's still tons left over. I appreciate that they have this piece to hang it. So maybe half a star. We'll give it half a star for materials. It was just this color differentiation that I was a little disappointed in. Otherwise, materials were great. And then versatility for what you could do with this afterwards. I've been looking on Pinterest for what to do with cross stitch, finished cross stitch, other than just leaving it here in this hoop, which you could do and then display it. You could put it, make a little tiny pillow with it, I suppose. But there are actually different ways you can display a cross stitch and use this that doesn't have to be left in the hoop. So I'll give it a star for versatility. So overall, I'm going to give this 1.5 stars. Next, I would like to try this macrame kit. I have never done a macrame before, but it looks fun. So let's go ahead and open it up. I do want to say, I find it interesting, all the different packaging that I've experienced with these kits. There are these cute little boxes, and then there's these, I don't know. It's just interesting that the packaging is all different. Okay, so it looks like we got strings and the colors that we need them in. We have a plastic blue needle, and we have step-by-step directions, and it includes pictures on how to knot it, so that's good. Okay, so I'm reading through the directions. Like I said, I've never done a macrame before, and I appreciate them showing us how to do the knots. I don't quite understand though how long to cut this. I'm assuming this right here is going to be the inside strings 2 and 3. However, I don't, because I have to use this for all 3 colors, and then I sew the 3 colors together, and then you add on the 3 or the fringe at the bottom, which they also don't really tell you how to do. You just kind of figure it out. So far I'm not super impressed with this, but I guess what I will do is take, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this color. This is so confusing because I noticed that this outer color, that blue, which, let's talk real quick, that's more like a sky blue, and this is more like a teal. But, not a big deal, but that's different. And I noticed that this goes on the outside, and so they give you more of that color. I also know that they tend to give you a lot more than you need. So I wish I knew how long. I wish they had told me how long to cut the string. So maybe I'm just gonna fold this over on itself. And maybe give myself that much in this color. I don't know. I don't want to waste. I'm not quite sure what to do. We'll figure it out. Okay, here I have started the blue, and I'm not sure if I have it the right length, but I guess it's just kind of however as big as you want it. Nor am I sure if you should start it with a knot, but that's, I don't know. So that's how I've started it, and I learned a lesson at the top. You can kind of see, and I'll show you what I had done and how not to do that. So to make the knot, you take your string 1 and you take it over strings 2 and 3 and underneath string 4. Then you'll take your string 4 and make it go behind strings 2 and 3, and then back between, bring it forward between strings 1 and 2. And I believe this is a square knot, and you just pull that. Now my problem at the top was I just kept doing that knot over and over, and it twisted. So that it doesn't twist, you do the opposite the next time around. Instead of starting with string 1, you're going to start string 4. So you'll take string 4, come over strings 2 and 3, underneath string 1. Then you'll take string 1 and bring it behind strings 2 and 3 and up between 4 and 3. And then that will just keep your macrame piece straight rather than twisting. So that's a lesson I learned. Follow the directions and you won't have problems like I did. But so yeah, I'm just gonna keep knotting this and see how big it gets, and then I will work on the next color. So I have made my rainbow arches and just kind of hold them up to each other. I don't know how big it's supposed to be, but I figured this will work for me. And now, because in the picture they have it smushed together, I'm going to start by sewing the pink together and then adding the yellow and then my teal. And I'm using their plastic needle. At first I didn't know if it would do it, but it's not doing too bad. It's just a little interesting, but I'm just sewing up what I guess will be the back, and this will be the front. I don't know. This looks more like a front piece actually than the other, but we're just gonna go with it. Now I'm going to trim these down to be about the same size as the other side. And this piece is together, and now I'm going to add on the yellow. Okay, here is my finished macrame rainbow. Yeah, I don't think it looks that great. This is what I got from following the directions. I did not go back and add the white strings to the bottom, mostly just because I'm not entirely sure how. Also, wasn't sure how long to make it. These look much more full, but the directions tell you just to have 2 strings on the inside. But I'm wondering if I would have used a lot more string, if then I would have had like all these white tassels at the bottom. But mine's like really thin. I don't know. And the color, like I said, like that's a light blue and this is like a teal. But when I'm looking at the camera, it does kind of look the same. I don't know. Anyway, there is the rainbow macrame that I made. Alright, to review this Crafter Square kit, the macrame kit, for time to complete, I give it a star. It did not take me that long. It was kind of quick to do. For ease of use, I'm not going to give it a star just because I had those things I brought to your attention earlier, like maybe I should have used more strings. I wasn't sure how long to cut the strings, if I should have knotted them together. Like I'm not sure how they don't have the blue string here and the yellow and the pink. I'm not sure how that happens. So I would say for ease of use, no star. For materials, they seem good quality. So I will give it a star for the materials. And for versatility, I feel like people use macrame for lots of things. So I do have plenty of string left over. Another reason to have a star for materials. And so, you know, I can make some other projects if I can maybe get on Pinterest and see what I can find. But yeah, versatility, I think it's a pretty versatile project. So overall, I would give this Crafter Square Kit 3 out of 5 stars. Last, we're going to do this Crafter Square Felt Kit, and it says skill level beginner, which let me look at the other ones to see if they tell you a skill level associated with them. I don't see that on the other kits, but I think that's super helpful for them to do that. Like the crochet kit in the other video, which I'll link here, that one was definitely not a beginner one because they were using terms that you would only know if you knew how to crochet, so interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this one up. Oh, this one, instead of having paper instructions, has the instructions here on the inside of the flap. And then this fabric is kind of satiny. You got the bee printed on there. And then we have the felt. And we can punch out the body. And we punch out the bigger wings. Try not to make sure I don't tear it, because when I did the felt flowers, I ended up tearing those. Yeah, that was good. That no tear there. Okay. And then we got the smaller wings. There and there. Okay. So then I got my strings and my needle. So now I'm going to read the instructions and see what I do next. Okay, looking at the instructions, I always appreciate when they have visuals to show you how to do the stitches. And it looks like here they have an order that you should do to attach it. But we already did the first step, which is take those pieces out. Then it says to put it in an embroidery hoop that it does not come with. So I'm gonna go grab one from a previous project. Okay, I grabbed this hoop from the cross stitching kit I did. We'll see if it's, yeah, it's small enough, so that will work. Go ahead and put that on here. I think these types of hoops just really help stretch your fabric out. So that way as you stitch, oh my goodness. as you stitch, you can stitch the best that you can. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's a tricky fit, but it fit. Okay, I have it in the embroidery hoop. It's a little hard to pull it tight when, I mean, it barely fits in there, so anyway, next we are going to take the black body and we are going to stitch it on. Sorry, I'm trying to see if it has holes in it because it kind of looked like it did. No holes. Okay. Next, we are going to take this black body and we are going to embroider it onto the fabric right there. And it says to use a back stitch. And so I will back stitch it on here and then onto the actual fabric itself, back stitch the antenna and the legs. Also, it tells me how many strands to use when I separate the floss. All of them will just use 2 strands, so that's good. Okay, now we are ready for this. It's really an orange color, but I think it's supposed to be a gold. And we are going to do 2 types of stitches with this. We will do a back stitch on the, I think you call it the thorax of the bee, and then we'll do a running stitch to attach the wings. right, here is my bee. The last thing they wanted me to do were some knots of white on the wings, and I decided I like it better without that, so I just left it as is. I really like the fabric this is on because I really feel like I can use this pretty much in anything that I, could add fabric to. So I just kept it this way because I liked how it looked better. Alright, my review for this kit, time to complete. It gets a star for that. It was super fast to do and pretty easy. So ease of use, also a star, because it's pretty easy to use. I'm bad at embroidery, but I don't think this looks too bad. Materials, I thought the materials were great. I love this fabric and the color of it. So that was great. And versatility, like I said, I feel like you can use this for so many things, so that gets a star as well. So this kit gets 5 out of 5 stars from me. So there you have it, my second review of Crafter's Square kits, this time doing the macrame kit, a cross stitch kit, and what they call a felt kit. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you agree with my ratings and which of the kits, if any of the kits, you would be interested in picking up at your local Dollar Tree. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!
If you would like to see more, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell so you don't miss a video.